So I'm hoping this will be the final day. I got a lot of time left in the day still. I've made a lot of progress so far today. Um, I sanded, everything is pretty darn sanded down. I have everything masked off. I'd say 95% of everything masked off. The tailgate is really giving me some trouble because I cannot stick tape to this stuff. And I want to get it as even as possible, so I'm trying to tape it like up underneath and then tape more tape so a thin layer of plastic can kind of hold there so it doesn't go spraying underneath. And I haven't quite figured out what to do with this yet. This is where the tail light connector hooks up to the, so we can get signal power. And I'm not sure if I want to do back here because I'm not sure if it'll sit flat again. And if it doesn't sit flat, it might not, lock back up with these two like it's supposed to the proper way. So I'm not sure about that. I'm probably going to end up taking this off and kind of putting it around it, just going around it and taping off this. Now, I'm pretty happy with these for the most part. I think I might grind this down a little bit more in just in a second after this. But other than that, just got that to tape. I did underneath there. I'm pretty satisfied with. I got just about, like I said, just about everything I want done. I took some hot soapy water and went along the edges there where it was really dirty from dirt and stuff just getting caked up. And up there is pretty much the way I want it. I'm gonna do the gas pedal there a little bit more just because I don't feel like it's tight enough there. Because when I go spraying underneath there, it's not gonna be very even. I'm gonna try to get tape so it's an even kind of spray. But if I can't, I can't. It's not gonna be the end of the world. And other than that, I got all the glue off here. I sanded this down real good, picked off all the glue off here. I got all this taped off now. I got the wire pretty much the way I want it, all the way through, taped off. So it should be pretty much good. I need to figure out before I start doing it too that how I'm gonna go at it to first do a first coat and then move the wire to do a little bit more after the first coat and then let that dry. But other than that, I'm gonna be cleaning this tub out in a second and wiping everything down with mineral spirits, the whole thing. I'm gonna look for any shiny areas. For the most part, everything's pretty good. I wiped this down this morning when it came out, and for the most part, everything here is pretty dull, not too much shine. I was using some steel wool to get up in the really tough spots. You can see like up there, it's really hard to fit my hand up there with anything. But the wool was kind of leaving pieces of it behind. I've seen other people use like Mr. Clean sponges, like scrubbing sponge, and those seem to work pretty good. I'm going to take a little piece like this and just try to go around everything, but for the most part, I'm just about there. I'm going to finish off the masking, which has just been, it's been driving me nuts. It's one of those jobs that I can do, but boy, I need like constant breaks, otherwise I'll lose my mind. But yeah, I pretty much just got to mask the rest of this off, mask the rest of that off, make sure everything is, I'm going to go along, make sure everything is tight. I started to run out of tape, so make sure you buy plenty of tape if you're going to do this. And I'm going to clean up this tub, mineral spirit the whole thing, and I'll come back and check it out before I decide to primer or keep sanding. Alright, so I am almost completely done masking. I gave the whole thing a wipe down with mineral spirits. Most spots are pretty good. I have a few spots kind of like you can see sort of here. Like mostly the harder to reach spots that still need a little bit of a sand before I decide that it's good enough. Still, I was thinking about that the tailgate here is the only thing I really haven't masked off on the sides here. I know there's going to be some overspray, so I kind of got to be careful. But at the same time, I don't even think the bedliner would stick to this. But I really don't want the bedliner to ruin that. So I'm probably going to try to do something there. Otherwise, I've got everything taped off. Everything is masked off. Everything is taped off. I started to plug up some of the holes here. The popular things I saw were earplugs and ear cleaners or Q-tips. And those work the best. I honestly recommend stocking up on, I used 4 and a half of these because I used 2 here, 2 here, 2 there, and 2 there on the where the console will be, and then 1 there. And the Q-tips didn't really fit anywhere else. Then the earplugs, if you're gonna do this, make sure you stock up on plenty of earplugs. I mean, just get a ton. I got 1 box of 10. And I had 2 more sitting around. That was not enough. I wish I had gotten more because the earplugs are really, really good. They fit in right in, they morph in, and it's going to be easy to go around them. I'm just going to make sure these go in more properly here too. And make sure they're in there real good and stuff. And I recommend earplugs. They're definitely worth it. But I didn't have any more. I'm not running out to go get more. So I thought kind of on the fly, and I decided to use some newspaper, just crumple it up real tight, suck it in the holes. For the most part, most of the holes are going to be okay with it. I'm not worried at all. I'm gonna take the, I already hooked up my gun over here. The U-Pol pistol ledger gun, that's what I got, right? Pistol ledger? Lightweight spray pistol ledger, yep. And I'd gotten this all together months and months ago. Gotten a pressure gauge, because they say between 40 and 70. I think somewhere around 55 seems to be good for me. I think I have it set to 60 right now. PSI, and got this all set. So I was already giving it a kind of a spray to get most of the crap out of here. I'm going to give another spray just to be sure that things aren't just going to suddenly get blown away. Because I mean, these are I want these here. I've seen other people do it, but I mean, the most important places you don't want the plugs to come out are where the bolt holes are going to be, especially the seat holes. The back ones here for me are important. I also covered up the plugs. Like there are plugs that go here, there are plugs that go there. I covered all those up. I'm going to very carefully. It's probably one of the last areas I have to tape right there, and just gotta mask off this. But otherwise, everything is all good up here. This is the way I like it. I'm happy with this. There are still a few, like, it kind of seems like it's a little shiny right there on the edge there. But I mean, I've gone to town on sanding. I'm not just going to give up on sanding now and half-ass it because I've already done so much. But I am going to, now this is all good, like I said, I'm going to give this a test with just a blank spray to make sure it's none of this is going to come flying out. Make sure I didn't miss it, obviously, right here. I already missed a spot. Right in front of me, too. It's always the ones right in front of you that you miss. And then other than that, the plug hole there actually sealed in pretty well, so I'm happy with that. And I think I'm just going to leave those open. I'm going to leave the plug holes over there in the front open. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead. I've heard the Acid 8 etching primer. I remember I did actually look up reviews on this. I remember them because I went looking for them again. They said it works really well. It's pretty good stuff. I wish I'd also bought, they have a number 3, which is like a primer or an etching primer for like really hard to reach areas, but I think this will work too. I mean, this should be an etching primer. This is more for bare metal, but I'm hoping it's going to work in a few of the areas. But obviously, I mean, I have tons of areas where you're just from sanding, you're going to get areas where bare metal is going to come through, especially on those where you put your foot to come in. But yeah, I'm gonna give this a shot. I've heard this stuff's really good. It's a little messy. It doesn't spray too even, so I got to be careful with that. I got to make it last in all the big areas I need it to last. And I also heard it's really, really smelly, so I'm gonna be sure to ventilate really good, like with any of this stuff. And I'm gonna go ahead and put a coat of that on, and I'll let you know how it goes. All right, so this is a coat and a half of the U-Pol Acid 8 etching primer, and I gotta say, it looks like it's doing pretty good. I'm not gonna touch it because I just finished another coat. I sort of put on one coat, then came back and did a little bit of touch up, and you can still see a few areas like that and stuff. But it seemed to be working pretty well. I finished taping off all that. I decided this would suffice. I kind of taped up here and then taped more around it. So this will suffice. None of it's going to get on anything I don't want it to. What I can tell you about this stuff is it definitely is. It is a little tricky, a little messy. I mean, it's obviously, I'm going around inside a Jeep tub and I'm trying to turn and get into like little corners there. I'm going to wait for this to dry, then I'm going to stand on top of this and. Oh, it almost looked like it was healing up there. That would have been really bad. But no, I'm going to stand on this. I'm going to get the last couple areas I sort of missed, sort of make it more even here. The front, I'm pretty happy with the front. I got a pretty far into the front. Again, I really don't know how that's all going to work out there because it was a really, really difficult to kind of like tape things there to make it like an even pattern. So I'm just going to, when I go shooting up there with the bedliner, I'm just going to try to make it as even as possible. I might have a change of heart last second and try to tape off like a kind of like a little horizon sort of thing, like an arch, where it kind of goes up to the front there. But otherwise, I don't know. Most of the stuff I have over the dash there is kind of caped up around in, so it's not going to hit anything I don't want it to. It's just a matter of how visually even it would be. But for the primer, it seems to be pretty good. I did have a couple of spots where it's splashed and stuff. It is very, very strong odor. Definitely wear a mask, get some ventilation, take frequent breaks if you've kind of done like a section. The odor starts to get pretty bad. Walk away, take a step for a second, because it is really, really potent. I'm not sure. People said it was really stinky. I don't know if I'd say that, but I would say it's very, very potent. Like you can feel yourself breathing it in, and it's never a good thing. But for the most part, yeah, it's taken pretty good. I mean, I'm not gonna have an even coat here. If you wanted to, if you were doing this, I can't really. It's gonna be kind of hard for me to compare. Like, oh, this is what it would have been like if I didn't bedline, or if I didn't primer before I bedline, and this would be like if I hadn't primered or hadn't. I can't really compare that, so I'm just going to kind of be going on what this is. I mean, I've decided the worst possible thing that could happen when I'm bedlining is it doesn't stick to a big area. Like, for some reason, it won't stick to, like, right here or something because I didn't sand down good enough or anything. But I spent, 2.5 days here sanding, nothing but sanding, and I still, little areas like that. But this etching primer, really good. It's making everything feel very, not smooth, not. It's losing that gloss, that smooth. It's pretty much what primer does essentially, and it's pretty good. If you're gonna do a Jeep tub like this, I would say get two of those U-Pol Acid 8 etching primer. because this one can is, I'm almost out of that, but I'm gonna have enough to do, like I said, the touch up in those in between hard to reach areas there and in there and around here. But yeah, if you want a very even coat, I'd say get two, and you'll probably go through a bottle and a half, I'd say. But yeah, it's you can see it for yourself. I mean, it's pretty evident the difference in the shine, the color. I got it all along here. It feels like this is more dry than anything else, but this feels pretty good. But you got a little bit of area like that. I'm a little worried about some of these areas. I mean, I went to town on sanding, so like I said, worst possible thing that could happen is, you know, it won't stick to certain areas. That'd be very bad because once I start the process here, it can't be stopped, you know. But I'm gonna finish up the primer. I'm gonna completely let it dry, completely let this all air out. Then I'm going to go ahead and clean up everything in here because I've been a mess over the past, I think, 4 days. I don't remember how long it's been. That's how this has been, this project. But yeah, I've just been a little unorganized. I'm gonna get everything together because at this point I'm all done with masking off. I'm all done with taping. I'm all done with sanding for the most part. I'm just gonna let this dry after another coat of like I said, the touch up, and then I'm gonna set everything together and go and I'm gonna take a look at the actual bed liner, the U-Pol bed liner, the whole kit. So I'll just let this all take its course, and then we'll be back to do that.